going on, guys? Alex Leveto. Thanks for coming back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about how to live frugally and still achieve financial security. So I'm very excited about today's video because I finally get to share some tips on how to save money and to help you guys set aside a certain amount per month to help you guys get through the remaining months through this recession or possibly years so you're prepared moving forward. So real quick, I want to talk about one of my upcoming videos, which is going to be investing in art. I actually did not talk about this in my other video on what to invest in during the recession, but I actually purchased a lot of art from a guy named Sean Flores. So check him out on Instagram. We can put his handle right here and in the description down below. So I'm gonna tease you guys and show you guys a few art pieces that I picked up. First one is gonna be right here. I actually picked this thing up about a couple weeks ago. One of my favorite pieces I've ever got in my life. So I'm very excited about that. I have two more pieces on the way. And I ended up ordering some prints. Right here, I'm gonna show you one right here. This is pretty sweet. Tom and Jerry, obviously. Got some Leveto going on. Really, really cool print. Need to frame these. And then this other one right here is, I think it's Scrooge with just some money coming out of his hat. That's a Supreme, some hypebeast kind of stuff going on. Scarface over here, Ferrari. You get the $100 bill in the background. Pretty cool stuff. So very excited about that video. So be on the lookout for that video. So a very crucial thing that I figured out early on in my career was the distinction between saving money and making money. Saving money you can't do without first making money. In order to save more, you need to make more. And you need to increase the amount of value that you bring per hour to the job, and then you'll be able to earn more money. Instead of going out and getting another 40 hours per week and increasing your workload to 75 hours per week, let's just increase the value that you bring to the job, what you're actually making per hour, instead of just spending more time and you're working more for money. Now I know that most people cannot actually make this happen because they have a steady job, they don't want to leave it, but also you have the ability to create a side hustle like YouTube, like other things like writing a book. You could do several different things in order to try and figure out different streams of income that you can come up with. Now I know that's easier said than done, and I totally get that because it is hard to create another stream of income, and I would tell you to think about it. Start thinking about different ways to increase your value, to increase your per hour worth so you're earning more money. Without earning more money, you're not going to be able to save the max amount you can. You need to have money to take from and to save, put away that money using these tips I'm about to share. One of the next things that you need to do is know your large financial picture on where you want to be financially. So what are your long-term goals? Do you want to become a multi-billionaire, a millionaire, or do you just want to have $100,000 in the bank, or just $50,000 in the bank? What do you want to have in the bank? You need to know what you want to have in the bank, your long-term financial plans, in order to kind of work backwards and to know what to save, kind of put away for your long-term goals. Once you have your large financial goals in the background, now you can create a monthly expense sheet. You need to keep track of all your expenses that are coming out of your account, what you're spending money on every single month, and I'm going to include that down in the description, just a simple template that I use that you guys can use every single month to go back and look at your expenses. Once you have a few months inputted into that data sheet, you can finally look at what the data is and what you're spending money on, what you're spending too much money on, and figure out what you can cut back on expense-wise. The next thing to do is to really figure out what you're spending the most money on and if it's really necessary for you to live. So obviously rent or a mortgage payment is probably your biggest expense every month. You need to figure out if that's necessary or if you can move somewhere else and cut that expense down. You'll need a couple months of data to really observe what you're spending too much money on so you can really cut down those expenses and set goals. So after you figure out what you're spending the most money on every single month, unnecessarily, you need to create budget goals. With budget goals, you'll kind of know what kind of cap you want to be spending every month on each item. So like food, you might want to spend like $400 a month, $300 a month. You need to have a goal set for that budget. So now that you have actionable steps to help you budget your money, you need to set up your accounts the right way. Or at least this is how I do it. I would tell you that this is probably a smart way that you should look at it. I'm not a financial advisor, but I would tell you that this is just how I do it, and this just works for me. The next step is to set actionable goals, to set actionable step goals that you can actually go after and start taking action towards so that you can start actually saving money. So whenever I get a payment that comes in, I allocate the money into different accounts. So I do automatic withdrawals. So I might have my money, my paycheck come into one account, and then it automatically allocates it to different accounts based on an allocation I set for it. So let's just say $10,000 comes into my main account. Then it gets automatically withdrawn and separated into two different accounts, one for living, one for saving, just to make it very easy. For saving and investing, it might be 30% of that. So $3,000 goes to that. Then the other $7,000 will go to living expenses. That way I'm not touching the $3,000 that's for saving. And I'm only touching the 70% that's actually meant for living expenses. Now this $10,000 that I use as an example is after taxes. So make sure that if you are 1099, if you're an independent contractor, that you're taking out money for taxes before you do your allocation. Now that we're done with that, let's get into the simple ways that you can save money. Number one is gonna be cutting the expenses that are the biggest cost to you that are unnecessary. So by looking at the past couple months, you need to figure out out what's unnecessary and cut those expenses out. By cutting out unnecessary expenses, you're not gonna have to deal with them anymore. You can really figure out what you need to be spending every single month and have a budget. Once you have a budget, you can be a lot more disciplined with your money and know where it's going and be a lot more proactive with putting your money to work. Number 2 is gonna be looking and tracking subscriptions. What are you spending money on every single month that you don't even know is coming out of your account? Do you just have Netflix? Do you have Spotify? Do you have all these subscription services that are just coming out of your account that you don't even notice every single month? You need to relook at your bank account and figure out what's coming out of your account that you're not actually using and cut those. You'll be able to save, $40, $60. Everything helps because you're saving money every single month and that adds up over time. So before I get into number 3, I actually read a study that actually 67% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck and they don't even have $1,000 in their savings account, which is very crazy. You realize that affordable housing and rent skyrocketed up the past couple years and people cannot afford what they're staying. They can barely put any money aside to actually save. So why I wanted to mention this before number 3 is because number 3 is paying on time. Some people just don't have that ability because they have their money living paycheck to paycheck. They barely have enough to actually make rent. And sometimes they might be incorrect with their calculations and they actually cannot meet what they need to pay. So by paying on time, you're not gonna have interest, you're not gonna have late fees that are gonna come in for rent. Let's just say you have a late fee at your apartment complex. It might be $50, $25. It all adds up over time if you're late. And then if you have interest on your credit card, it's gonna keep adding up. It's gonna eat you alive. So you don't want that. You wanna be able to pay on time, be confident with your money, have enough money set aside for an emergency situation and be prepared for that. Number 4 is gonna be unsubscribing from social media accounts that tempt you to buy more stuff, that send you sales all the time, and make you wanna buy stuff because society says that you need to buy it. Number 5 is gonna involve food when you go to the grocery store and figure out what you're actually eating and what you're not eating. If you're picking up an ingredient and saying, oh, I might use this in some dish, really figure out and really think about if you're actually gonna use that because it might just sit in your refrigerator for a whole month. You may never use it, just throw it away and waste money that way. So you need to really figure out what you're using that ingredient for. Really think about, should I spend money on this or not? Number 6 is gonna have to do with clothing. Now you wanna buy clothing that's timeless, that's not really trending. You might buy occasionally a piece that's trendy. You don't always wanna buy a bunch of trendy clothes unless you have a lot of excess money. And this is all about saving money, so I would tell you just to buy clothes that's timeless, very simple, neutral colors. You wanna choose colors that are not gonna be trendy as well. Now you can either go 2 routes. You can either go the quality route, the more expensive route, or you can go the less quality route and the least expensive route. This all depends on what you wanna do in saving money. Now this is a saving money video, so I would tell you that if you do wanna save a lot of money and you do wanna get some decent clothes, I would go to Goodwill. Sometimes you can find good deals. You can also find really good quality clothes at Goodwill or Plato's Closet or any of these brands that resell clothing. Now the other route is gonna be buying quality clothing and making sure that you're holding the long-term value of the item. So I bought in some really expensive shoes and I know that they're gonna hold their value over time because they are desirable to the marketplace and they are a desirable size. Most people wear around a 9 or a 10 shoe or maybe an 11. So you really need to know the future value of the item when you're buying quality stuff because if you're buying something that's trending and it's not gonna be in trend in the future, you really need to rethink your decision on buying that item. Number 7 is gonna be having discipline when it comes to saving. You need to stick to your plan, you need to stick to your budget and not abuse it. You need to stay disciplined. You need to rethink every single purchase before you buy something. You need to think, is this within my budget? Am I meeting it? Am I staying disciplined? You might have the occasional splurge. That's okay, we're all human. We all like to buy some things, some nice things every once in a while and treat ourselves for the hard work. And that's good. You need to reward yourself every once in a while. You need to stay disciplined at the same time for the months, for the long haul, to remain in your budget and meet your financial goals. Number 8 is gonna be the last biggest way to save money other than making more money. And that is to find the right place to live. You wanna choose somewhere where it's below your means a little bit. You wanna figure out what you can afford for rent every single month and live in a place that you can afford. It makes sense, for your friends, for work, for your whole life. You wanna figure that out because if you don't figure that out, that's gonna eat up most of your budget and you won't be happy. Make sure you stay out of places that you deem low standard. So that's gonna end off the video. Thanks for watching. I really do appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button if you really do enjoy my videos. Hit that thumbs up. Comment down below what other ideas, what other things that you're doing to save money. Share that with us. I'll see you guys next time.